up, GG boys? Woohoo! Game 6. All right. I am so sorry that I was not able to watch this game, and we were not supposed to be able to do this episode tonight. But Dad texted us literally about 20 minutes ago and said, podcast invite. And we didn't mention to him that we weren't going to do it. And then within 20 minutes, we're on the internet. How you guys doing? What do you think?
Yeah.
Better now. GG, boys.
Good game all around. Except for Klingberg.
Yeah, except for Klingberg.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even watch the game, and just based off of the text conversation that I watched you guys talk about him at the end of the first. So, well, okay, before we get into it, I got to do my intro. Welcome to Starcastic Remarks. Over to my right over there is Christian. To my left is our Padre dad. His name is David, but we call him Padre. And we are happy to have the after game review for Game 6 against the Flames. Stars force a Game 7 going back to Alberta. Series is tied 3-3. There's still a lot of things to talk about in tonight's game, including some very irregular hits by a certain Calgary Flame player who is now public enemy number 1. That was supposed to be sarcastic there.
Oh,
so,
gosh.
anyways, but we do want to thank our sponsor, DraftKings, for being the sponsor of this episode and of our network. Please go and use the promo code THPN next time you guys are there looking over the bets out there. There are a couple bets that I would not have taken in this game, and I'll be honest, I was in the negative mindset. I had a little bit of hope here that the Stars were going to pull it out today, but it looked like, due to the play of Jake Ottinger, yet again, big surprise, the Stars are able to pull out the win tonight. And especially in that first period, what it sounded like to me is that he stood on his head, made a numerous amount of saves, and which allowed the Stars to get that first goal from Rope Hintz. But anyways, what did y'all think about the just initial observations from tonight's game?
Yeah, first 10 minutes of the game, the Flames came out of the gates and they wanted to seal it here, and absolutely Otter kept us in it. And that's the only way we can describe it. The Stars played terribly. It was their worst part of their entire game, and Otter kept them in. And that's what a great goalie does, and that's why it's the most important position in the NHL.
I don't know why I didn't feel it quite as strongly as you, Chris. Ottinger made the saves and kept us in the game. It just felt more like we were playing defense. We weren't pushing. We were definitely back on our heels, but it didn't feel to me like we had problems at that point. So
the Stars always play good defense against the cycle, and they still did. But the first 10 minutes, there was no offensive zone time.
I agree with that.
And there was multiple chances for the Flames, and that to me is as dominating as it gets for the Stars defense, at least.
Fair enough.
All right. Anything specific that you guys want to talk about? Because again, I didn't really get to watch the game. I tried to keep up with it as much as I could. By the way, guys, for those of you listening online, this is how much I love you. I literally got in from work literally about 10 minutes ago, and I'm already here online with you guys. So just saying. But anyways, so in the first period, Otter made some huge saves. We talked about him a little bit, but Dad, you thought that he wasn't, maybe I'm misunderstanding you, but he wasn't as good as I'm thinking of what it seemed.
No. He played wonderfully. He was awesome with it. No question. I just didn't feel like we were losing the game. I didn't feel like they were putting so much on us that we were in danger at any point. It didn't feel like we were out of sorts. Definitely Calgary was bringing it. And Ottinger had the answer every time, and it didn't feel like it was a problem. That's how I felt.
Yeah. And after the first 10 minutes, the Stars got their bearings back, and we start playing the offensive zone. I mean, it really was just that first 10 minutes, not even the entirety of the first period. We start getting some pushback, and then 5 minutes later comes that first Rope Hintz goal, which was huge.
Summary for this game. Our goalie was better than their goalie.
Yep.
Summary of the series.
Summary of the series. Yeah.
Even in the games that we lost, he's been the better goalie. He really has.
But that first goal, Markstrom never should let that in. That's a weak, very weak goal.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Great play, setting it up, and Pavelski took the man and charged the net, gave the open net there, and just just
Yeah.
never should have gone in. But hey, that's the way it works, right? So we got the pressure, got it in.
Good play and a good shot, but neither of those goalies have let neither of them have let a goal like that in.
At all. You're right. Agreed.
So overall, was there any other goals in the game that you're like, maybe one of those goalies kind of wants one of those back? Because other than the first goal, because I did see, when they scored the goal, I was sort of kind of paying attention to it, because I was at a AA baseball game rather than watching the Stars game 6. Ugh. But it is what it is. You got to work. But other than that first goal, it didn't seem like any of the other goals in tonight's game were kind of like egregious, mistakes by goalies.
Absolutely not. The Ruffalo goal, that's just straight grunt work, which our depth guys were due for one, and that's a huge time to pull it off. Stone was
more on that one for sure. That was awesome.
Yeah, Stone's goal was a dunk. Terrible misplay.
That was such a beautiful play by Johnny Gaudreau. Such a beautiful play.
Heiskanen was a gorgeous move. I mean, they were all
and really pressure in front, goals. Right? So
yep. Except for Ropes. Ropes was very savable, and Markstrom didn't get it, and that's the difference.
Yep.
It seems like we got everything that we needed tonight. We got a goal from the top line.
I'll tell you something we didn't get.
Okay.
Officiating.
Okay, you opened it.
My goodness.
And we didn't need it.
And we worked through it. So if we don't count the last garbage, whatever, 20-second power play at the end of the game, the power plays this game are 2-2. Anybody with two working eyes, anybody with one working eye could tell you that is complete bullcrap. It's garbage. And Zadorov staying on the ice after a hit like that led to him slew footing later on in the game, which really could have led to an injury. If he's a foot closer to the boards, that can break his ankle. That could totally happen. And then at the end of the game, it leads to him getting punched in the face, or him trying to punch our defenseman in the face over and over again. And that's what happens when you don't get a guy like that off the ice. He's just a goon. He's trying to make his presence known because he can't play hockey. And that's what happens when you don't penalize it. I mean, you're saying it's okay, so he does more. And that's what happened.
Yeah, we won't be seeing him again.
Yeah. Ryan, I think your mic's muted or something.
My bad. I forgot. I muted it so that my sneeze wouldn't be heard online. But so let's talk about that play real quick, because I saw the hit and I was in the middle of a stands of a AA baseball game, and I was livid. I was losing my mind, and I saw the hit, and I'm here's what I'm thinking. That Nemesnikov hit, and was it game 5? Was it game 5, game 4, whatever game it was? The Nemesnikov hit that was a clean hit on Johnny Gaudreau. Yeah.
Shoulder on shoulder, just a big hit, big hockey hit that should have been a big momentum swing in our advantage.
Right. That was a 2-minute minor, but a very clear shot to the head. It was the primary point of contact. And that's not called?
And it was completely intentional.
Any sense?
He turns his shoulder into the head. He could have easily gone shoulder on shoulder. And he completely leans into it and then throws the elbow at the end up into the head. The only argument I've heard
the play. The puck wasn't even in the play anymore.
And the only argument I've heard is, oh, he's just bigger. Okay. The rule is you can't target somebody's head. It doesn't matter if you're bigger than them. Like,
you're still responsible. You're still responsible
no bearing
for what you do
at all of what goes on there. And it's a disgusting hit. It's a predatory hit. He's trying to injure him. That's what he's doing. He is trying to hit him in the head and knock him out cold, which he did. He lost consciousness on the ice, completely concussed. The refs think that's a great hockey play, and that they want that more in the NHL. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Let's show you how bad that call was, because in the intermission, the rules analyst for the national broadcast, who's gotten every single thing wrong that I've heard so far this series.
For Dad, that means is gone in the Flames' favor.
Right. Comes on. They're all standing around the net. Oh, this is going to be a big fun time. He goes up and he gives 3 points. This he did wrong. This he did wrong. This he did wrong. And they're trying to get some discussion, and like nobody will say anything because they all know it was just that bad. Yeah. So it was a terrible hit. I didn't see it initially, and I went, oh man, that was a big hit. And then when they showed the replay, I just couldn't believe just the way
no,
that
that
happened.
that was one of the few points in the game that I was actually watching live, and I was able to watch live. And I'm right off the bat, I knew that was a dirty hit.
Yep.
Because one, it's good Branson, and two, you look at the way that Glendinning crumbled.
Yeah.
It was Zadorov.
So, what did I say?
Goodbranson.
Excuse me, Zadorov, the other big guy.
Reza was trying at the end too, but
Yeah.
we're gonna kick his butt next game too. So
Okay, so obviously he's not in for Game 7. If he's not suspended, I will be shocked. Absolutely 100% shocked.
That's not going to be obvious.
If Jamie Benn is going to get fined $10,000 for two stupid little things, okay, now maybe the second one was not stupid because it really was kind of a slew foot. But if Jamie Benn's going to get fined for two different things, and then he better be suspended. Because I still don't think that Glendinning is going to be playing in Game 7. I think there's something that's going to happen for him because he did not look 100% after that hit, and we didn't see him very much either.
He absolutely should be suspended, 100%, without a doubt. I don't know if that's really going to happen. The other thing that I kind of want to point out,
I bet money on it. Go to DraftKings, use the promo code.
The other thing I want to point out is Glendinning should not have been allowed back into this game. I mean, that's a joke of our concussion protocol. He was knocked out cold. He was out cold. He has a concussion. Without a doubt. I know it's hockey, and I know it's a hard-hitting game. We're not protecting our players if we're doing that, and the NHL is not protecting the players if they don't suspend Zadorov. Although,
see, I don't think it's a Stars thing. I think it's an NHL thing more than
that's
anything.
what I'm saying. It's an NHL thing. They need to, the NHL concussion protocol needs to do something and stop him from playing. Like, the Stars are going to let him play if he wants to play.
Of course, he's critical to the Stars.
That's an NHL thing.
Doctors checked him out. They did take a good long time. It was the rest of the period and the full break. So, I mean,
he totally lost consciousness before he hit the ground.
Or was that in the first or in the second?
That was in the second.
It was in the second,
so,
yeah.
But I mean, I think the coach also has the discretion and obviously held him back too. And he wasn't playing him. I mean, he wasn't playing him regularly at all.
Yeah.
He knew he was hurt.
Yeah. But honestly, I think what would be worse for Calgary is that he's mandated to play more than 20 minutes because he's a terrible hockey player. So I don't want him suspended. I want him to be forced to play, to have at least 20 minutes of time on ice, or else the Stars get an extra goal.
I like that.
Play Zadorov as much as possible because he's trash at hockey, and that's why he has to do stupid crap like he did tonight.
That was my
by the way.
Players, I don't want him on the ice.
By the way, he's a -2 on the night. Trash hockey player. He sucks at hockey.
Good. That was my question after the period was, should Ben fight him, or would that be too bad of a trade-off?
Well, I'll say what I said, because if the refs aren't going to penalize it at all, then yeah, Ben should go after him and should grind him to a pulp and do whatever he can to knock him out of the game, because that's what should happen. I mean, if the refs aren't going to control the game, which they didn't, which is what led to what happened at the end of the game, then okay, we're going to take the game into our own hands too. But you know what would have happened at that point? I mean, Flames would have gotten a power play and they would have won the game because of the power play, because of a retaliatory thing. So I totally expect the way this entire series has been officiated, the way just luck happens for the Stars, Zadorov's going to get nothing, not even a fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be a clean hockey hit, and we're going to want to see more of that in the NHL.
See, I hope that's very sarcastic.
Very sarcastic. I actually disagreed with you, Chris, in our group chat with all the Chambers boys, because I know he's not contributing offensively, but he's your captain of your team. You need your leader. You need him in the game, and that's not a good trade-off. Zadorov for Ben, no. If it was Foxa and Zadorov, I would have been fine with that.
I mean,
but not
at that point,
not
I don't care about who we're trading for who. It's the matter of justice for Glendinning. I mean, he got knocked out cold on a completely illegal hit, and the refs are doing nothing about it. Doesn't matter. He doesn't deserve to be on the ice. He deserves to get beat the crap up.
Well,
how many games do you think he gets? Because in my
None.
head,
I think
there's
he's gonna get
no
none.
reason.
He should get 3, but he's not going to get any.
You don't think he's going to get any?
He's not going to get anything. He's playing games.
Really?
Yes.
Even though the rules analyst said that.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, okay, that's a hot take for me. I completely disagree with you on that. But for me, here's the hilarious thing. I think it would be hilarious. he gets a 2 or 3 game suspension. Stars win Game 7, and then he has to miss the first 2 games of the next of the beginning of the season because of
Maybe they'll
his.
schedule us to play him again first game.
So I don't know, but I'm just really hoping that the NHL steps in on this because I mean that's not the worst hit, obviously, that we've ever seen of an illegal hit, but it was a very bad hit.
It's like the textbook hit that they're trying to eliminate from the game.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that we've seen worse hits than the one we saw on Glendening. We've seen worse hits. I mean,
at least he had the puck at one point.
Not really. But
I mean, it went by him.
Well, okay, so Dad, do you agree with me or do you agree with Chris?
I think I agree with Chris.
Dang it!
From a smart hockey perspective, he shouldn't go fight. He didn't go fight. He did talk to him. He did invite him, and Zadorov did not take it. But I think you got to set the tone there. And what I really wanted, truthfully, I wanted us to be hitting Gaudreau something fierce in that third period. I wanted him on his butt because the time when he gets scores and when he gets assists is when he's skating free through the ice. And all we have to do is step up and put a body solid on him and hit him a few more times, and it's going to make him think twice about doing that.
And who knows, if there's no suspension on Zadorov this game, you don't even have to put a body on him. You need to put a body on his head. I mean, honestly. I mean, if that's going to be allowed, someone's got to go for a headshot. I mean, that can't just go unpunished, and I still feel like it will, and that just pisses me off.
I agree with the feeling. You can't headshot him.
Yes, it's a feeling. I don't mean that.
But
I was about to say we should point that out.
But I really do think we should hit Gaudreau to knock him out. Yes. He should be hit on every opportunity, and
he has too much room right now.
He has too much room, and if you saw at the end, my third period objectives that I put up in our chat was score 2 goals and knock Gaudreau out. And they did score 1. It was empty netter. But then Ben did go after Gaudreau in the corner in our defensive zone. He didn't get much of him, but he did at least make his presence known. So
is it asinine, Chris? You got to say it.
Yes, the hit was asinine.
There you go, Brandon.
I mean, the lack of a call was asinine. I expect that from Zadorov.
Yeah,
the no calls is the asinine thing.
Yeah. So some people are asking about where James is, and James was here in the chat earlier. He's probably working right now, kind of in between houses and stuff right now. So, but he really wanted to be here, but he's just not able to do it tonight because he works late hours. So, but so how many do you agree with me though, Dad, in the fact that not that he should be suspended, but that he will be suspended?
Yeah, I think he's gone. I don't think we're going to see him again.
I don't think we see him again either, but I think I think he gets 2 or 3 games.
At least
maybe not 3, 2. I'll give him 2.
I'm thinking 1 to 2, but one's all that's really needed. Because then he's out for the season anyway, so it's all good.
Nice.
You're already inferring the Stars are going to win. Okay, all right. I like
that. Was that good reading of the conversation, Ryan? I'm proud of you.
Hey, I didn't get to watch the game. Shut up. I'm tired. Okay, I woke up at like 6:45 this morning. So
it was a good game all around. One of the things we talked about in the third. Well, I guess kind of same pattern in the second as the first, right? So we did get the goal to be up, but then we kind of let off the gas, and they got 2 quick goals, and we were kind of flat-footed a little bit, and I didn't catch if it was Bones calling it or who all kind of pushed it, but they realized what was going on, and they stepped up their skating, they stepped up their passing, and they took the game back. It took control of the game, and that's when we got our lead. Was just that control.
And it took some time too. Like after their second goal, it took about a good 2 or 3 minutes, I think. So like a full shift for each guy, and then they turned it around, which is a great thing to see. We used to, during the season, you couldn't see an adjustment from the Stars until we got to an intermission, and to see something like that change just mid-period like that is huge. And that it definitely, the momentum changed before we got that Miro goal. Definitely,
there was some leadership there somewhere. I don't know if it was coaching or if it was veterans on the bench, but somebody stepped up there.
It's got to be Pavelski. That's in the back of my
feel
head.
Like
that was my first. You said that, and I was like, it's got to be Pavs.
We didn't even mention Pavelski, which is also in the second period. Pavelski gets high sticked, is spitting blood all over the ice. He's literally spitting blood right at the ref's feet. And
you call it a 2-minute.
It's a 2-minute minor. I mean, that's just them blatantly ignoring the rule book. You're just not calling the rules at that point. Is what that is. Like, it doesn't matter if you're bleeding in your mouth or out of your mouth. There's no way the rule book makes that delineation.
He really just must have bit his tongue intentionally to get.
Oh yeah, he definitely just bit his own cheek and just spat his cheek.
As you see him at the bench and they're wiggling his teeth just to be sure that they're not like falling out. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. And that's just the officials just blatantly not calling the rule book. That's what it is. They're just not calling the rules correctly. I'll give a little throw a little fuel on the fire that I don't even fully believe myself, but one of the officials was born in Calgary, just so y'all know.
Okay, that's a little far. I don't think
was
that
it
has
the one calling the
it.
icings when the puck wasn't even moving.
No. Oh my gosh, that happening over and over again was so annoying.
That actually happened.
But no, there was the official was Dan O'Rourke. Just so all of you know, let's just scream his name from the rooftops. Dan O'Rourke, Dan O'Rourke, Dan O'Rourke. No calls. Calgary native. Makes sense. All right. Moving along. The third period from the Stars was great. I mean, wonderful. You could not have asked for a more opposite third period than last game. And that's exactly what they did.
Turtle. They didn't
turtle and kept their foot on the gas the entire way. They didn't even get to pull their goalie until after a minute remaining. And at that point, they had no chance. Like, there wasn't even a real push.
Do you think they had enough energy because they didn't fully come out in the first period and, Calgary was getting all those opportunities?
I don't think it matters how much energy you have in Game 6 of a playoff game with
elimination
3 minutes left.
You got 20 minutes, boys. Here it is.
You're running on the most amount of adrenaline your body can produce at that point.
Yep. And just again, somebody called it out. Somebody pushed for, we're playing in their zone. We're going to control the puck. And when we play that way, we win games. Now, we've won games turtling too, but it sure isn't fun like this one. And this was fun.
Third period shots on goal ended with the Stars in the lead, 13-11.
That is weird.
And that's how it should be every time. And it started from the very first shift. We were in their zone. I don't know if we got a shot on it, but we had extended zone time. And that's where you want to play defense, is in the offensive zone.
Yep. It was wonderful, wonderful execution in third period. Really liked it.
Well, here's what I would like to do, and this is just me thinking because I want to get y'all's opinions on each of the defensemen in tonight's game. Because, and I mean, I'm serious, each and every single one, because of the places where I got to watch, it seemed like there were multiple times where there were good plays being made by Stars defensemen and terrible plays being made by Stars defensemen. So let's just go ahead and start with the biggest one. Let's just start with John Klingberg. What did y'all think about Klinger's play tonight?
He was trash. He was
thumbs down?
2 thumbs down.
Okay, what's other than the end of the first period and the stupid mistake he made? What were some other things that you saw out of his game?
It was the exact same thing.
Yeah, I swear he must have bet it against the team because he just passed it right to the guy right in front of our own net.
And you did say that in the group chat.
Throughout the game, over and over again, it was just turnover after turnover. I don't think he possessed the puck and made a clean pass to a teammate unless it was on the power play. That's the only time I saw it. It was truly horrible from him.
Really rough.
And honestly, from someone who we haven't seen play that badly, Hakanpää too had some terrible giveaways. Some
That
awful
one of the
ones,
very
which is
one of the very few few points that I actually got to watch. Hockenpah turned the puck over in his own zone, and it led to a really good scoring chance for the Calgary Flames.
There were 3 of them in the third period alone.
Dadgum. The one I saw was in the second.
Yeah. So, not good.
I saw Hockenpah make enough good plays that I guess I missed those, but yeah,
he still made good plays throughout the game, and I think he's second on Stars defenseman for time on ice.
But Klingberg seemed to not make good plays.
Klingberg is not making good plays.
He
He's
made
not
like
making
one
up
or
for it
two
at all.
rushes that looked decent, and he possessed the puck on the power play a little bit. But
Even on the power play, though, like pucks are getting through him. That should be easy keeps. That just bounce over his stick because he's not being aggressive on it. Like, he's just playing terribly. Like, I wish he would say some other stupid stuff at the end of tonight's game, and maybe he'll have an impact on Game 7. Because right now he's just becoming an assist machine for the Flames.
We could trade him for Kachuk again, and or Gaudreau. Maybe
we'll do that all over. Send Klingberg out there against Zadorov. I mean,
Klingberg would get destroyed. I mean, Zadorov has like 50 pounds on him. It's not even funny.
It's a sacrifice.
That's more like a deliberation. It's not a sacrifice. Sacrifice means he might have a chance to, to be free or whatever. Now, deliberate, he's just dead. He doesn't have a chance. Okay, so we talked about Hockenpah. We talked about Klingberg. Let's talk about Miro Heiskanen, who got a goal in tonight's game. What did you think about his play?
He was due. He was outstanding. He didn't play very much tonight, which makes me think that he's starting to feel all the pounding that the Flames are giving him. So hopefully we see a lot more minutes from him next game, but he was definitely outstanding and a lot more offensive. And even still, he passed on a couple of chances where I was like, he should have shot. So great job. Shoot more. Every chance you get, shoot the freaking puck. That's what you're getting paid for.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything defensively that you saw? Was he playing well against the top line?
He was solid defensively all night long. I didn't see that. I didn't see that many bad plays by Heiskanen.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else have we not mentioned other than
Suter?
Suter. Let's talk about Suter first. So Ryan Suter, he had a really bad game 5. Absolutely bad game 5. And I didn't really see anything, positive or negative about his play from Stars Twitter.
I felt really bad about it.
Twitter was upset about it.
Okay, so I didn't. I guess I missed that then.
Yeah, Cooper and I were both just complaining. I think maybe Cooper set me off on him too, but he was
attaboy Cooper.
Yeah, I know. he was ragging him, and I was like, you know what, you're right, Cooper, because he should be playing way better than that. So,
Cooper saying on YouTube that Suter was doo-doo. Probably saying it the nice way.
That's very eloquent.
Chris, what do you think about Suter?
I mean, he's Joel Hanley, but he plays more. I mean,
but we expect him to be.
Yes,
we brought him in to be a playoff defenseman, and he did not do that this game.
He's exactly the opposite of that. He's not making plays offensively. He's coughing up some defensive, not as bad as Klingberg, but he's still coughing stuff up defensively. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of term. I mean, if he's not going to be good in the playoffs, then why did we get him?
It'll be interesting to see. And I just kind of thought about it because I feel like Suter's played better.
Oh yeah,
I thought he played better in the regular season. I didn't think he was that bad.
Maybe it's just the Flames forecheck that's causing some of that.
And he's just older. He's just older, and
that's a terrible excuse. If we're gonna pay him that much money for it doesn't matter how old he is. If we pay him that much money, he should be a good defenseman. I mean, if he's getting paid that much,
I think
not right now. These past 2 games, he sucked. That's not solid. And the two most important games of the season, that's terrible.
Now, I can't talk for Game 6, obviously, but for Game 5, yes, I agree with you 100%. But in games 1 through 4, I thought he was pretty good, and he was solid.
What's his impact, though? What's his impact, though?
Yeah, not.
Did you notice him in Game 1 through 4?
I did, yes, defensively especially.
No, disagree.
I thought he was better in 1 through 4 too. So
I thought he was better because I didn't notice him.
But isn't that a job of a player like that?
Not for a guy you're paying what, $4 million?
Okay,
$5
but what about
million?
Essa Lindell? Essa Lindell's getting paid 5.5.
Yeah, and I notice him all the time. He played 25 minutes tonight.
My gosh, that's
0 giveaways,
amazing.
3 blocked shots, and 3 shots on goal,
Yeah.
and a takeaway.
Essa was
He
good.
played perfectly for 25 minutes. Ryan Suter still turned over the puck over and over again, played less than 20 minutes, and had no offensive upside.
He's got to play better, and he's one of the guys that we really need in Game
We need him
7.
to step up for sure.
He's going to be a guy I look to at Game 7 because he's one of the old guys. He's been around for a while, and he hasn't had a ton of playoff experience, but especially when he was in Nashville in its heyday, when it was doing really well, it top 2 in the Central Division, he was one of those big guys on that blue line. So you can look to his experience in those playoffs, in those situations, and especially going into a Game 7 like that. So he's got to be better. I'll go ahead and say this too. He's got to get more than 20 minutes in order for the Stars to win the game in Game 7.
No, he doesn't. Give him less.
Here's my reasoning. Because if he has more than 20 minutes, that means that he's playing better. And if he's playing better, then the Stars are more likely going to win the game. And he has to play better. He has to play better than
he does have
Game
to
5
play
and
better.
Game 6.
Joel Hanley, I'll just say he did his job. He was the 6th defenseman, and he did his job. He had some bad giveaways. He didn't have a ton. He had some good plays too, though, and he got a little bit of shorthanded time. That's all we're really gonna ask from our 6th guy right now, and I think he did a fine job.
I really want to sing his praises because he's been really good for the Stars. And
this game was one of his worst of the series, though. He had a couple of bad turnovers. Yeah.
Okay.
But it wasn't anything like Klingberg, and it also wasn't anything as bad as Suter.
And it wasn't over and over again.
Right.
I think I can think of 2. I think.
Yeah.
But that's too much for someone who has 12 minutes. But for our 6th guy who's been in and out of the lineup all season, I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, he played well.
In my opinion, he's got to be one of the best 7th defensemen in the league. It's hard to be that 7th defenseman when you don't get consistent play throughout the season, and then all of a sudden you get thrown into a playoff series. And he's playing over Sekera now, so I guess he's not number 7 anymore.
Yeah,
he's number 6.
He's definitely number 6.
He's obviously either Sekera's not 100%, which still might not be. It's very possible he's not, but he's also deserved it, in my opinion. He's played especially the last quarter of the season. Joel Hanley has come out of nowhere and has been very solid on that third pairing. Now, when he's been put into a top 4 role, like when he's been playing with Klingberg and stuff like that, I think that's not a role that exactly. He plays too much, and that's not the role that he's suited for. But he is absolute perfect third pairing defenseman, and he's exactly what this team needs there.
What he's brought, that at least the spark that I saw, I think Hanley's the one who has brought some physicality and had Hakanpää step up and be physical too.
And he's not a big dude. He's only 5'11".
I think he hits and he's willing to go, take people on. So I like watching.
Agree.
Okay, do we want to talk about biggest winner, biggest loser?
Sure.
I guess we can go that route. Yeah, I'll bring up one.
Let's try to pick players that we haven't already talked about, because obviously it seems like there's some easy ones: Klingberg, Suter, and biggest winners. We'd already talked about Otter, so there's one in my head that I'm thinking about that's been good all series, and it's been mentioned in the chat already. So if you take it, go for it. But who's your biggest winner and biggest losers?
I'm giving mine to Kivy.
You stole mine.
That was one of the ones I was thinking about.
He's our bottom forward, and he has the lowest amount of minutes, and I still notice him every single game. And it's so easy to get lost throughout games like this, especially for a guy who's not big like him. And he's played outstanding. He essentially had the second goal. Rafa pokes it in, but that's just a great, dirty, hardworking goal for a player who's done that all series long, who has been completely mismatched the entire series as well. I think he's done amazing.
If you watched him on the boards, he was taking hits and giving hits to the guys who were much bigger than him and winning position battles on those plays.
Yep.
So, I mean, he shouldn't be able to do that. He's smaller than most of the people he was hitting, and yet he's winning the positional battles on those hits, which, yeah, I guess this is another Cooper one. He's like, maybe he just plays good in clutch games. Maybe it's just got to be an elimination game or a game 7.
Hot take here. Game 7, Kiviranta hat trick. I know it's not Colorado yet, but
that's asking for a lot. But I'll take a goal.
I'd take a goal too from Kiviranta. So I mean, really, you're right. In all reality, that second goal from the Stars, it was a trash goal. It was a garbage goal. But Kiviranta was the one that led it.
All 3 forwards go into the net. Kiwi took it. He took it all the way in. He got it in front. He got the rebound. Their defenseman pushed it back toward the goal, but Raffles pushing hard and crashing the net, gets the goal. And if you notice, right behind him, Fox is right behind him with a stick right in the crease. They all 3 were right there. That's what we need out of our lower lines like that. That's the way we're going to get some secondary scoring.
Absolutely. Put your head down and dive at the net.
Bowl the goalie. Yeah, that's obviously fair tonight.
Yeah,
too.
That's legal now too. Apparently, that
can,
slipped edge at the end of the game.
If you lose an edge, you can bowl the goalie. It's just not really a penalty then.
That's some bull crap, and that's happened all series long too. And earlier in the game, Coleman barrel rolls over Ottinger trying to do the same thing. They've been bumping our goalie all game. We bumped their goalie one time and get a penalty. We can't get back on it. Move along, Ryan.
All right, Chris, you want to give your biggest winner, biggest loser?
I already gave my biggest winner is Kivy. My biggest loser is the NHL. I mean, I said move along and we failed. So we're right back at it. This entire series has been bull crap. It's been terrible. Obviously one-sided to every single person who's watched this series. Even Flames fans were admitting on their power play goal, they're not power play goal, whatever. That's absolutely shouldn't have been called. I mean, they called Suter for interference on a guy who is 6 inches taller than him and who just got brushed.
Less than a minute after, they're holding us behind their net, got an arm wrapped around our player and pulling it back, and oh no, there's no call there.
And after the Coleman interference, no call. Yeah. It's over and over again. It's completely and totally one-sided. I mean, I'm not one to believe in the conspiracy theories that refs are trying to sway games and everything, but it's hard to argue against it right now, honestly. I mean, the 1 seed is getting every single call, and that's just luck.
Yeah, and
it's been all series long and nothing has changed.
You're ignoring obvious penalties.
Yeah. And you're ignoring the stats of the regular season. I mean, the penalty minutes are essentially even in this series. The Flames are the 10th most penalized team in the league. The Stars were the least penalized team in the entire league. There's obviously something wrong there. Yep. It's incorrect. It's not, the Stars are just playing rougher. It's just playoff hockey. That's bullcrap. If you're watching the game, you know what's going on. We'll leave it at that.
Yep. I'm gonna put biggest winner. You took my Kiwi because that was my name, but I'll put Raffle on there with him for the goal and the continued good play throughout the whole series. Honestly, he's elevated his play. I mean, he's been put in different positions. I think he played better tonight, even in the position he was in.
Back on the checking line.
Yeah, and yet still got a goal.
Yeah,
so
he played better offensively on the checking line than he did with the Ben and Zagan line.
Yep.
Which is what we were talking about last podcast too.
Yeah. So that was.
I think. Sorry. I'm gonna jump on that, Dad, because that was gonna be my biggest winner in tonight's game and just in the series in general. And I don't think this is a hot take when I say this, but other than Jake Ottinger, I think he's been the most consistent Dallas Stars player through the series. I really do. In the role that he's asked to play, that he's had some chances. I wish he would score a little bit more. Obviously, that he's like the new Matthias Janmark, but he has his play has elevated as he's gotten closer to the playoffs. And in the playoffs, he has been one of the most consistent Dallas Stars players. And
absolutely,
and we even said in some of the past games that he was the best Stars player, the best Stars skater, I should say. He was the best Stars skater in some of the games that we lost. So, I mean, the fact that he continues to do that is fantastic. So that's my biggest winner. And go ahead.
He's definitely setting the bar for the entire team. He's saying this is where we need to be at, and it makes it very obvious when the rest of the team isn't with him.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well,
biggest loser.
Biggest loser? That's kind of hard for me to say tonight because I didn't really get to see the game. Really?
We'll give it to Markstrom. I mean, he made the one big oopsie.
And that's funny. It's one mistake. And he's been excellent this series. He's been excellent.
He also got the play of the game.
He did. Yeah, that save on the power play. Yeah.
And you can still give him the biggest loser. I agree.
And he's still the biggest loser.
and I don't even think it's because he played bad. It's just because he let in the one mistake and he made up for it in the third period, and then the Flames were just not able to capitalize on their chances.
Our goalie.
Right. And I want to point this out because I can't remember who said it. There was someone in the chat, and I'm sorry I'm going to call you out, but he said that Markstrom has been the better goaltender than Otter. And I fully 100% disagree with that. But here's the thing. Both goalies have been absolutely excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to look this up as soon as I saw that comment, and that's why I was clicking on my phone over here. But the stat that a lot of people go to look at how good a goaltender is nowadays is not save percentage and it's not goals against average. It's actually goals saved above expected per 60 minutes. So if it's higher, it means they're doing really well. If it's lower, then and it's in the negatives, it means they're letting in goals that they should be saving. So get this, okay? So the two of the top three are in this series, right? Okay. Number one is Mike Smith, who is doing amazing things right now for the Oilers, and he's at 1.386. Right behind that is Jake Ottinger, who is a 1.343. He's very close to that in that statistic. And then just below that, by a significant margin, is Jacob Markstrom at 0.869. That is a significant drop. So if you look at that stat alone, and I'll back this up because this is the hockey guy absolutely dies on the statistic. This is the statistic that he looks at when he's comparing goalies, and what a lot of people do actually. So, I mean, both goalies have been good and have been excellent. But dare I say Jake Ottinger is elite, and he is one of the best goalies, if not the best goalie in the NHL playoffs right now. And I don't feel, out of sorts in saying that.
And you don't even have to use advanced analytics. I mean, use the age-old save percentage. He's still winning. 9.56, and Markstrom has a 9.52. I mean, any way you slice it, he's been the better goalie. And tonight proves it. Otter was perfect. Markstrom wasn't. Stars win.
Sunday night, we'll tell for sure.
And that's when we go into the Saddle Dome. That's what I'm holding on to. I'm holding on to my Otter, and I'm gonna pray.
and we have to keep playing the possession game that we played tonight. We have to continue to play that possession game.
So let's just get into predictions for it then. I don't think the Stars are going to be able to play as good a game as we did tonight. I don't think we're going to outshoot the Flames. They are still the higher seeded team, and they are fighting off some playoff demons right now. They are going to be doing everything in their willpower to get past the first round. And I think we're going to have to hold on. I think Otter's going to have to keep us in the game, and I think we're going to have to score a timely goal. And I think it's going to be a timely power play goal is actually what it's going to come down to, in my opinion. So that's my prediction for Game 7.
Not a power play goal. I disagree with you. I think Otter is going to have to be absolutely insane in the first 10 minutes, and then the Stars have to score the first goal. They have to score the first goal, in my opinion, in order to have a chance in Calgary. If this was in Dallas, I might feel a little bit different about it. But since the fact that the game is going into Calgary, I mean, their barn has been bonkers. I mean, it's so much fun to watch the
Speaking
crowd
of the
there.
Stars was crazy tonight. This was way better than Game 4 was. Outstanding by Stars fans in the AAC tonight.
So I think that's what's going to happen. And I think the Stars are going to have to score in the first period in order to and take a lead into the first in order to make this happen. That's just my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but what do you think, Dad?
I don't necessarily think it's required. Definitely, Andre's going to have to stand on his head. No question. We knew that coming into the whole playoffs. If
Andre
didn't,
we just didn't know if he was going to be able to do it, and he's more than proven it.
We've seen him do it in the season. We've also seen him fall off after that, but he elevated his game perfectly. For me, I'm trying really hard to decide between two options. And my homer call is we're going to get up by 2 goals. They're going to implode, and we're just going to thrash them. I don't know if we'll get more goals than that, but that's my homer call. Now, what I think is more likely, truthfully, we have not had an overtime game yet.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
And I am very surprised at that with as close as these games have been, that there's not been an overtime game. And it would not surprise me at all if we go into overtime and then we look for a hero. So
Miro.
I would say the game ends 2-1 in overtime. At least 2 overtimes.
Man.
I mean,
we're going to be up late and we're going to be screaming and doing this late again.
And I have to go to work the next day. So, oh man. Well, so final prediction, Chris, you said 2-1. Dad, you're saying.
Oh, give me the homer. I'm going 3-1 with the possibility of it even being bigger. Stars win.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go homer too, but I'm going to say 4-2 because the last 2 games have been 4-2. That's the only reason. No real reason.
That's true.
Other than that.
Well, one more thing that I think we should talk about.
Okay.
I think Glendenning's going to be out, like you said, Ryan.
Yeah, he has to be out. I mean,
who do you think comes back in, just real quick?
Oh, that's interesting. Because you've only got Radulov and Gurianov, right?
I'll give mine back first. I think Gurianov comes back in. Just at least the idea of his speed is a good thing. And I mean, if Game 7 looking for an upset doesn't get your speed going, then you got to go back to the KHL. So
already set, right?
Maybe
for Radulov, yeah. No, it is. It's like confirmed that he's got a contract with them now.
Well, Gurianov is the one that's questionable.
Yeah, that's true.
Dad, who would you put in?
I don't like either option, honestly. I know Radulov can do it.
We recalled 11 skaters from Texas, so.
Right. But I know Ben Sagan can do it too. So I just, yeah. I mean, you do have some options there.
I don't know if I'd put it one. I'd much rather put Gurianov and Radson rather for a Game 7. No, I'm not putting any of those
Game
guys
7,
Game 7
NHL debut. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
Bonus isn't going to do that. Bonus is too afraid to do that.
He's not going to do that.
You would have to be forced to do that.
Now, okay. So here's an interesting option, actually. Okay, and I don't think it's going to happen, but it gives some thought. What about Riley Tufte? For one reason and one reason only, because of his size. I think they can really use size like that in Game 7.
I think we're more likely to run 7 Demon and bring in Harley than run anybody from Texas.
That makes sense.
Okay, that's fair.
I buy that.
I mean, I still don't think that's going to happen, but Tufte kind of gets me excited that maybe he'd come in for Game 7. I don't think it's going to happen. But
my most likely thing, I think Glendenning will suit up and he will play less than 10 minutes.
I hope not, because
I hope not either, actually, because he needs to rest.
Yeah, but and he actually may be okay. Maybe he really didn't get a concussion. It just looked bad from what we saw.
He was out before he hit the ice. That's bad.
He was wobbling, man.
Yeah,
that was bobblehead. that was bobblehead on the knees. The only reason I'm up is because I'm on my knees and and my body weight's holding me up.
You know, I've thought about it between Radulov and Gurianov. That I'm gonna put Radulov in, and because this may be his last game in a Dallas Stars sweater.
Don't care.
And okay, I do, because that may give him extra motivation, and I maybe hat trick Alexander Radulov. I don't know.
That would be crazy. Imagine.
That would be insane. Yeah, but okay.
Did you see the drop pass to Sagan to get him a goal? An empty
Yeah.
netter.
Respect your elders.
Yep. So here's one other thing that I want to point out. It doesn't have to be a big discussion point, but I think it's very interesting. We have 5 Game 7s in the first round, and it's the first time this has happened since before I or Chris was born, 1992. That is insane. This has been a fantastic playoff round to watch.
Yeah, round 1 is crazy. Only
Right.
one sweep too.
Yeah.
Very
Called it.
surprised that Boston's back in it. I really want the
I'm
Penguins
not
to win just so
crazy.
my things stay alive.
I'm surprised Boston's back in it.
I'm not. I'm really not. I mean, just because they have so much playoff experience. But
Boy, tomorrow's gonna be fun with
oh man,
Tampa and Toronto.
Oh, what's
That'll
gonna
be sitting in front of the TV
happen?
starting at 3:30 Central Time. I'm gonna be glued.
Yep, me too. I'm
Close
gonna
us
be
out,
watching all
Ryan.
3 of those games. All right. Well, I'm really happy that I got to do this, because this makes me really excited for Game 7. It really does.
Thank
Getting
you
to
for
hear that
firing
the
it up.
Stars won and how they did it. So,
It was fun. Very good showing tonight. GG boys.
yep. Do we know what the start time is? I think it got announced for Game 7 for the
8:30.
Stars.
Imagine
8:30. I
that.
should have guessed. Of course.
8:30
Central.
Central. So
That's nice.
that's perfect. That's perfect for me. It's not too early, not too late. So it'll work for me. So, well, we will be back with you guys on Sunday, and we have a very special announcement that will be coming. I hope. There's still a couple of things that I need to get together with some certain people about, and we'll see what happens with those. I'll announce it hopefully here soon on Twitter and stuff. But until then, thank you guys for listening to this after game review. Please go and use the promo code THPN next time you go and use the DraftKings app. I've said it so many times that I'm so tired that it's not even paying attention now. And then also go and check out StarcasticMarkshop.com for phase 1 of our merch. Leave us a review, comment, whatever you do. YouTube, share, please. And we really appreciate. I mean, we've seen a huge uptick. I mean, our last episode 170, so even more than what we've been expecting. So thank you guys for listening and sharing.
Ryan,
we appreciate it.
One more thing, you may have talked. If you've talked about it already, then fine, skip on. But you actually met someone from Calgary in San Antonio. Have y'all talked about that
I
yet?
forgot to tell that. I guess I have to wait to tell that story. Okay. So for those of you that don't know, I am a band director, and for those of you that may be from other parts of the world, I'm basically a music teacher. Is another way to put it. But we took our seniors, who are 17 and 18-year-olds, to San Antonio, Texas, and in San Antonio, Texas, they have SeaWorld. SeaWorld is basically a amusement park that has a bunch of animals, with orca whales, killer whales, dolphins, and all sorts of stuff. They've got shows, they've got roller coasters, all that sort of stuff. But me and one of my coworkers were actually sitting down for the orca show, which they do periodically throughout the day. And it was me and him, and we sat down, and directly in front of us, I'm not joking, a family from Calgary who had heard of our podcast sat down right in front of us. And the only reason why he recognized me is because I was wearing a Dallas Stars t-shirt and I was wearing one of my Dallas Stars hats. And he said, "You would happen to be that guy, would you?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's weird. Small world." I love the internet. I love the internet so much.
What was his wife's comment?
Even in Texas, we can't get away from hockey. So it's fantastic. I thought that was so much fun, and it was just unbelievable. Great story. and it's just fun to think that we're getting recognized out there, even in Calgary. Even in
Shout out to
Calgary, and people are
Calgary
coming down to
fans
San
who are watching
Antonio.
this. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So-
we got to take you guys down. We love you.
We don't love you.
Yeah, we do.
we do.
Calgary is the Texas of Canada. They are.
What
That's
a
what people
statement.
say about them. Okay, I'm tired. I'm getting too tired here. Along with Christian and along with Dad, my name is Ryan. We'll be back with you guys on Sunday. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Chris, say it to close us out.
GG, boys.
We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good night, guys.